innovation has become a source of tension between China and the United States. Joining us now, James Sung. He is the Chief Strategist at Zocus Strategic Marketing. Thanks so much for joining us. A lot to talk about. I want to get kind of right into it. I want to talk about the impact of the CHIPS Act so far, and if you could tell the audience a little bit about that, just a thumbnail sketch.
Well, I'm not a economist. I'm not a politician. What I am is someone who's very interested in technology. I am a U.S. taxpayer. I am an investor, and this act just to a lot of people seems very ridiculous because from when I grew up in the U.S., of course,
sure.
And what we learned was that the best kind of economy is a free market economy, and this really goes against all those principles. I mean, we can see the damage that this has already done. This is bringing U.S. tech companies, chip makers, NVIDIA, AMD, Qualcomm. I mean, they all already lost more than 50% of their value, on a 52-week, off their 52-week high. This is something that is going to delay, the next PlayStation. It's going to delay our flying cars. It's going to delay our entry into the metaverse. Because really what we need to do is we need to cooperate, and we need to do research and development together, and we need to unify the entire world, the entire global supply chain, because let's face it, I mean, everyone is good at something different.
Right.
The U.S. is right now, I mean, they want to hold on to this supremacy for chip making, but China, they imported $432 billion worth of microprocessors in 2021.
And James, and we've heard about it for months and months and months, the whole supply chain. And there's also word that the U.S. could be considering more tech restrictions aimed at China. As you mentioned, you're somebody that is in the free trade. So what do you think this could be the outcome of all of this?
Yeah, it's for me, I mean, looking at this, it's U.S. is making China not to be able to buy from Europe, from the Netherlands, from ASML, for the foundry machines for chip making. They're not allowing U.S. citizens to work in this field in China. I mean, what's next, right? I mean, China doesn't allow Chinese people to work in the U.S. I mean, we all know, a very large amount of scientists are Chinese, and it's like throwing sand in a sandbox. I mean, this is something that's not going to work.
Well, James, when I was over in China a lot in 2015 to 2019 before the pandemic, and one thing I heard a lot about was let's go from made in Japan in China to manufactured in China. There's a lot of pride there. So right now, where does China's efforts stand to ramp up its tech production?
Well, SMIC is leading the charge there in China. The whole issue here is really the size of the chipsets that are being made. And right now, on average, China is able to make about 24 nanometers size chips, and the U.S. Right now is at about like around 5 nanometers they can make. So the smaller the better. China right now, they're experimenting. They already got it down to like 7 nanometers. So China's definitely catching up. Like this whole issue is if you look at it, the U.S. is allocating $11 billion for research and development in the CHIPS Act. And basically, Samsung itself spends $16 billion a year. So the U.S. is allocating $11 billion over 5 years. So based on that rate, they will never catch up. So this is something that is a plan that's not going to work.
Well, indeed, James, there's a lot to dig into. I'm sure we're going to come back and chat with you again in the near future. James Sung, thanks very much for your insight.